Now, May is National Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and as we go into the summer months, there are tons of SPFs on sale right now. So this is the perfect time for my annual sunscreen roundup video. You know, over the years, I have reviewed at least 50 different SPFs on this channel. I have an entire SPF playlist, which I will link in the description box below. So today I thought I'd share my top 7 all-time favorite sunscreens, some old favorites and some new favorites. Now keep in mind, my 64-year-old skin is really quite dry, extremely dry in the winter, still dry but closer to normal in the heat and humidity of the summer months. As far as sunscreens, my personal preference is for either an untinted or a lightly tinted SPF. So many of the really popular tinted SPFs, the shade is just a little too deep or a little too warm for my light neutral olive skin tone. Now we know we need an SPF of at least 30. My preference is an SPF over 40. And I like to keep it as affordable as possible since this is a product I use liberally every single day. Price point matters. All of the SPFs I'm sharing today are fragrance-free, none of them sting my eyes, and they all look beautiful on bare skin as well as under makeup. Now, as I show you the application, it's going to look like I'm applying a lot, and I am. SPF is dose dependent, like a medication, and I will be applying the 1/4 teaspoon that is required to achieve the SPF that's listed on the label. It's a lot more than you think. This is why I always recommend measuring a new SPF until you have a really good idea what 1/4 teaspoon of that particular formula looks like. And this is also why SPF in foundation is never even remotely enough protection. Can you imagine what you would look like if you applied a 1/4 teaspoon of foundation to your face? Well, I took one for the team and I did a video where I did in fact apply a 1/4 teaspoon to my face. I will link that in the description box below. Let's get into the sunscreens. Now, I am not ranking these sunscreens. I use and enjoy all 7 of these sunscreens, but I am going to start with the 2 that I have used the longest and repurchased the most. You know, these are the 2 that you've seen me use on this channel when I'm reviewing foundations, because these sunscreens are both untinted and not overly glowy, so as not to alter the coverage, shade, or finish of the foundation. Now, the one you've probably heard me talk about the most is DRMTLGY's Broad Spectrum SPF 45. This is an untinted hybrid SPF, meaning it contains both chemical and mineral filters. This runs $26 for the standard 1.7 ounce, and I always have a 20% discount code in the description box below, and DRMTLGY is having a site-wide Memorial Day sale up to 35% off. Details in the description box below. Anyway, this has a really simple ingredients list with skin-loving actives such as niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, and glycerin. Let me show you the consistency. It does come in a pump. This feels like applying a moisturizer, and although it does have a white cast when you first apply it, once you blend it in and give it a little bit time to set down, the white cast does completely disappear on my light skin tone anyway. This is just such an easy SPF. I use it a lot. Like I said, I have been repurchasing it for the past couple of years. DRMTLGY also has a couple of tinted SPFs that are really, really popular. But like I said earlier, the shade is just a little too deep for my skin tone. But if your skin tone is a little more on the medium side, you might really enjoy those SPFs. They just launched a brand new matte version, which I haven't tried yet. Anyway, I really wish DRMTLGY would come out with multiple shades of their tinted SPFs so I could use one. Another one you've heard me talk about and that I have repurchased many times over the past several years is the Can Make Mermaid Sun Gel SPF 50 PA++++, 4 pluses. Now this runs in about the $12-ish price range, but it is a smaller package at 1.41 ounces. This is a Japanese hybrid SPF, It contains the mineral filters, both zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, as well as 4 of the advanced Japanese chemical filters that we don't have available here in the US. Now I have the clear version. Apparently it also comes with a green tint called Mint, which is supposed to be very good for neutralizing excessive redness in the skin. I haven't tried that one, but it's worth checking out if you suffer from redness. Now this is supposed to be good for all skin types, including sensitive, and I just saw Dr. Shireen Idris's SPF recommendation video, and she said that even her oily skinned patients enjoy this. This has hydrating, soothing ingredients such as arginine, sodium hyaluronate, and jojoba. I love the lightweight gel-like consistency that just sinks into the skin. No white cast, no pilling, radiant, but not greasy. And I love the small plastic squeezy tube, perfect for travel. Next up is a newer sunscreen with a really long name, and it is the Heru Heru Wonder Black Rice Moisture Airlift Daily Sunscreen SPF 50 PA++++, 4 pluses. This runs about $15 for the standard 1.7 ounces. This is a Korean chemical SPF utilizing 5 of the advanced Korean chemical filters. It comes in a squeezy tube with a pump, and you can see I've already used up quite a bit of this. Let me show you the consistency. Ingredients include black rice oil to moisturize the skin and provide antioxidant benefits. Also includes ceramide, heart leaf extract, adenosine, and niacinamide. I find this applies easily, absorbs and sets quickly. It literally disappears into the skin with 0 white cast. It has a really pretty satin, natural skin-like finish, and I do think this would work really well for all skin types, including oily. Now, this is really easy to find on Amazon, YesStyle, and Stylevana. By far, my favorite sunscreen for outdoor summer activities is definitely the Naked Sundays Collagen Glow 100% Mineral SPF 50 Perfecting Priming Lotion. This is cruelty-free, vegan, water-resistant to 80 minutes, and reef-safe. I used up an entire tube last summer, and I already have a new one. Now this is an Australian SPF, and one would think that the Australians know what they're doing when it comes to sunscreen, but it's really easy to find here in the US. Target is even carrying it. Normally this is, I think, $35 for 1.7 ounce, but Naked Sundays is having a 25% site-wide off sale for Memorial Day. I will put the details in the description box. Oh my gosh, I almost said below. Have you noticed that YouTube is moving the description box again? Sometimes I see it showing up on the side of my screen. I don't know why they keep moving that description box. It makes it so hard to find, which is why I always try to put my description box in a pinned comment at the very top of the comment page. Anyway, it comes in a squeezy tube, does not have a pump. This is very lightly tinted, just enough to take the white cast away. It almost has more of a grayish tint. Once I work this into my skin, it completely disappears. It doesn't show any tint whatsoever. This is definitely the thickest SPF I own. It's almost paste-like. At first I thought I was going to hate it. It does feel heavy going on the skin, but it blends in surprisingly well. Here are the claims. A 4-in-1 formula, which acts as your primer, moisturizer, SPF, and collagen supporter. I almost always use a moisturizer under all my SPFs, but you may not need it. It also claims to blur, moisturize, and protect. It is for all skin types, including oily and sensitive. Adds a subtle glow without being oily, and it has watermelon extract and vitamin C for antioxidant protection. This sets down to a beautiful, slightly radiant finish. It almost has a blurring effect, so it does look beautiful alone, and it does work almost like a primer under makeup. Another sunscreen I think I'll get a lot of use out of this summer is the R&R Undefined Sun Serum SPF 50 4+. This is $28 for 1.7 ounces. This is 100% mineral and it utilizes 12% zinc oxide as its filter. This is cruelty-free and water resistant to 40 minutes. Now, I did review this last summer and I enjoyed everything about it except the shade. It was just a little too deep for my skin tone, so I gave it to my aunt. However, they now offer 3 shades. So of course, I picked up the lightest shade, and you will see it has a pretty watery, liquidy consistency, very similar to Tatcha and Color Science, which I love, but they are more in the $50 to $60 price range. So this is much more affordable. And you can see the shade is working pretty well for me right now. The shade is very neutral. It might be just a tad deep for my super pale winter skin, but it's working really well now that I'm picking up just a little bit of my summer color. Ingredients include tremilla mushroom, allantoin, and jojoba to hydrate and soothe, as well as niacinamide and vitamin E for antioxidant protection. It feels surprisingly cushiony and actually just a little bit oily going on the skin. It does take about 30 minutes to set and dry down, and it is quite glowy, so I do like to powder it down. It doesn't necessarily offer coverage, but it does even out my skin tone a little bit, so it's perfect for no makeup days. Here I am wearing it with no foundation, just some powder, blush, and lipstick. A brand new sunscreen that I picked up during the Sephora sale that I am very much enjoying is the In Beauty Project Mineral Sun Glow SPF 43 PA 3+. This runs $35 for 1.7 ounces. It is vegan, cruelty-free, and reef safe. This comes in 2 very sheer shades. And although it looks like a thicker consistency, it is incredibly lightweight. It is only tinted enough to take the white cast away. You can see it is literally disappearing into my skin. The ingredients list is really very impressive. It is packed with skin-loving actives. It utilizes 14% zinc oxide as its sun filter, tons of antioxidants including vitamin C in the form of tetrahexadecyl ascorbate or THD, niacinamide, superoxide dismutase, and resveratrol, hydrators and soothers such as glycerin, squalane, urea, and allantoin, and it has 3 peptides. This is as much skincare as it is sun protection. I adore the incredibly lightweight, fluffy gel cream texture. It feels weightless, it literally disappears into the skin, and it sets down quickly. It's hydrating and glowy, but not greasy. I really enjoy this one. And last, but absolutely not least, I hope I already said this, but these are not ranked. I enjoy all of these sunscreens for one reason or another. Anyway, I am halfway through my second tube of Agency's Sunsilk Sheer Mineral SPF 50. Now, I almost hesitated to include this in this video today because you can only purchase this if you have a subscription with Agency Skincare, which is how I obtained my prescription tretinoin. I have lots of videos on Agency Skincare, but this was one of my most used sunscreens last winter. If you are a patient with Agency, the price does depend a little bit on your specific subscription package, but generally this is about $36 for 1.7 ounce. It is tinted. It does come in 2 shades, of course. I have the lighter shade, and it is a more liquidy formula, and the tint is very, very neutral. Like I said, it's one of the only tints that worked on my very, very light winter skin. Ingredients include both zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, and it also has wonderful hydrators such as hyaluronic acid, glycerin, aloe, and argan oil. Also contains niacinamide. The formula really is quite silky and elegant, and it feels so nice as it blends into the skin. It's very moisturizing, slightly radiant, and works well alone and under makeup. The light neutral tint doesn't really offer coverage, but it does provide a little evening of the skin tone. It's the only tinted SPF that worked on my pale winter skin, and I wore it a lot on no makeup days. Now this is the only complexion product I'm wearing today other than concealer, blush, and a little bit of powder. And here is what it looks like. Now it might be looking pretty glowy right now. It is getting pretty warm in here, and I do have lights which do add some glow. I haven't tried this yet in the heat and humidity of the summer months, but this was perfect for me last winter. Now I do realize that most people don't have or need 7 different sunscreens, but keep in mind I do test a lot of different sunscreens for this channel, and for me these are all keepers. I do find all of these useful for one reason or another at different times of the year. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please remember to throw it a thumbs up. And please share your favorites so we can all help each other. And remember to check the description box where everything is listed, including some of my favorite Memorial Day sales. And with that, I hope you have yourself a great day, a wonderful week, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.